Find the value of x to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so based on the information that's given in this right triangle, I have the hypotenuse down here, which is across from the right angle, and I have the other side that's next to the angle, that is the adjacent side. So this is the cosine function. Cosine of 51 is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, cross multiply, thus getting x. We get 17.62. Okay, so across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. I'm not using that with regard to the angle, 20 degrees. I do have its opposite and the adjacent. So the function that deals with opposite and adjacent is the tangent function. Tangent of 20 is equal to opposite 15 over adjacent x. Since the variable is in the denominator, I'm going to switch x in the function of the angle. So it's 15 divided by tangent 20. As a result, x is equal to 42.21. Okay, so number 3, label the hypotenuse. I have the opposite side from the angle, so that deals with the sine function. Sine of 67 degrees is equal to 3.4 over x. X is in the denominator, therefore I will switch the function of the angle and x. Go ahead and plug that into the calculator and you get 3.69 rounded to the hundredth spot. And last but certainly not least, I have the hypotenuse and I have the side that's adjacent. So we're using the cosine function, adjacent over hypotenuse. Again, I have the variable in the denominator. I'm going to go ahead and switch with the function of the angle. So it's 432 divided by cosine of 59. So we get 838.77. Okay, a hot air balloon is tied to the ground with 2 taut straight ropes, as shown in the diagram below. Taut is tight. One rope is directly under the balloon and makes a right angle with the ground. The other rope forms an angle of 50 degrees with the ground. Determine the height to the nearest foot of the balloon directly above the ground. So the height is going to be this straight part where I've labeled x. So with regard to that in the angle, we have the opposite and the hypotenuse. So that's the sine function. Sine 50 is equal to x over the hypotenuse of 110. Cross multiply. And to the nearest foot, we get 84. So now we need to determine the distance to the nearest foot on the ground between the 2 ropes. So I'm going to label that y. And there's 2 ways in which to solve this. You could either use a trig function, or you can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared, because you have 2 side values now. So let's go ahead and use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 84 squared plus y squared is equal to hypotenuse square of 110 square. So we have 7,056 plus y squared equal to 121,000. Subtract 7,056 from 121,000 and get a difference of 5,044. Take the square root and get y is equal to 71 feet.